Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kakuyo, North American contributor for Buddhist Global. Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Ordinary Buddhist. The title of today's Dharma talk is A Gratitude Practice. Before we get into that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great too. When we go through life, it is common for us to have to deal with some sort of suffering. Sometimes this is physical suffering, a pain in our body. Sometimes it's mental suffering, a pain in our mind. And sometimes it's suffering of the spiritual sort. We may have some sort of an existential angst that we're not quite sure what to do with. Now, ideally, there is a ready-made solution to our problem. We cut our finger and we put a Band-Aid on it. We're hungry, we get something to eat. But there are going to be moments in life where we either don't know what the solution to our problem is, or the solution is not readily available. So maybe we have a burning question about something that Buddha said in the sutras, but we're not at home at our library, so we can't look it up for ourselves. So how do we deal with these moments when we are suffering, but we can't necessarily solve the thing which is causing our suffering? One way to deal with this is through a gratitude practice. Now, life is full of suffering, but it's also full of joy, things that we can be grateful for. And because we have a negativity bias as human beings, meaning we look at the bad things first, sometimes we miss those things, so it can be helpful to be intentional and purposely look for things that we can be grateful for. Now, this practice doesn't require any special equipment or any special mindset. We simply need to sit down and think of 5 things that we are grateful for. And we need to say them out loud. I feel that saying the words out loud instead of just thinking them really helps it sink in. So, for example, in this moment, I'm grateful that I live in a home that keeps me warm and dry when it's so cold and nasty outside. I'm grateful that I have access to electricity and lights so I can move around and not be in the darkness. I'm grateful for the food that I was able to eat this evening with my family. I'm grateful for my family and friends that check in on me to make sure I'm okay. And I'm grateful for my animals that give me comfort and, something fun to do during the summer and the winter when I'm taking care of them. It's just that easy. Pick 5 things that you're grateful for and say why you're grateful for them out loud. When we do that, we shift our focus from our suffering to our joy, and we short-circuit our negativity bias. And as we focus on the happiness and the joy in our lives, the suffering is lessened. Which isn't to say that it's not important or that we don't need to come back to it later, but in that moment, we will have some relief from the troubles of our life. Amitabha.